Hello guys and welcome back to the Tank Club. Today we're going to be looking at how to tank the Gryphons in the Cloudrest trial. Now the main priority for Gryphon tanking is that you're supposed to tank the Gryphon and roll dodge every single light attack. And you also kite the Gryphon when it's in the air. So those are the main priorities. So the first thing we need to look at is the setup. So the most ideal setup for this is using 7 medium armor, all well fitted, all with stamina enchants, and you want stamina recovery jewelry. If you can use robust jewelry, then do so. If you have to trait change some jewelry, then maybe don't bother. So you don't really need to fully optimize the setup for this fight as the Gryphon tank. Using crafted armor is perfectly acceptable because you are setting up to roll dodge a lot and kite out a group. It's not really a big deal about doing anything else. The big point of this is to make sure you can roll dodge every hit and you're able to stay outside of the group and not need to go in for the big heals because you've took too many hits. So a setup you could use is medium crafted Tava's Favor, for example, with a 1-piece Bloodspawn, 1-piece Stormfist that both give stamina recovery as the 1-piece. And then you can use whatever set you want for the jewelry and weapons. So I use Hersines personally because I farmed that a long time ago and I needed some kind of use for it, so I use it for my Gryphon tank setup. But you could use whatever you have. So if you have Ebon or Yolnacrin, Worm, Drake's Rush, Arcasis, even Alkosh is possibly useful here. You likely would have Alkosh already, and that drops in Robust. So it's a kind of a perfect option. And you can just eat up synergies and not worry about putting down your blockade for Crusher if you're using Alkosh. So it is quite helpful to use Alkosh for this potentially. So number 2, fighting the Gryphons while they're on the ground. So the best way to do this fight is to tank the Gryphons wherever they land, and then the other tank will move the mini-boss so that it's on the other side of the room with somebody out of group who can kite the jumps from the mini-boss. So all you need to do is roll dodge every single light attack so that you don't get hit, you don't take the stacking bleed damage, and then you won't take any damage at all. It's possible to be able to do this due to the setup, and it's also 100% possible even with the CP changes in the Flames of Ambition patch as I'm doing in the video. The light attacks happen every 2 seconds, so as soon as the Gryphon lifts its hand off the ground, dodge roll left, that'll be the first one, and then every 2 seconds after that, so you can count 2 seconds and then roll right and then left and then right and just repeat this for the duration of the fight. When the Gryphon stands on its back legs to do the cone AoE or to do the mechanic that's relevant to whatever boss you're on, so fire, ice or lightning, you just step to the side of the boss, and this is where you do a quick heavy attack to get some stamina back. So the boss will do this twice per phase. So every time the boss lands on the ground, it will always do a cone, it will always do a mechanic. You've got a chance to do heavy attacks to get some stamina back. So you need to do that to top up your resources. So because you're roll dodging every hit, you don't need to ever block, which means you'll benefit from stamina recovery. So you're going to gain stamina back from your stamina recovery because you're not blocking. You just dodge roll in every single hit. When a large AoE appears under the Gryphon, you need to quickly step back and move away. If you don't, it'll knock you back. And it also means that when this happens, it means that the Gryphon is about to fly in the air. Okay, so number 3 and the final thing is kiting the Gryphons when they are in the air. So this doesn't get mentioned very often, but the Gryphon tank is supposed to kite the Gryphon while it's in the air. And to do this, you need to keep it range taunted, and you should be stood on the opposite side to wherever the Gryphon is, but away from your group. What happens is the Gryphon will shoot out 2 large AoE circles on the ground during the time that it's in the air. And you don't want these to hit your group, because when they hit your group, they knock people back. So your whole group can get knocked back if they get hit by these AoEs, and they also get a dot applied to them. So you can just kite that AoE away from your group by not standing in your group and standing on the opposite side of the room from the Gryphon. The Gryphon will often also fly in your direction. So if you stand on the opposite side of the room, the Gryphon will often fly at you as long as you've got it taunted. And then what this means is it won't fly over the top of your group. So this makes it a lot easier for your group because they won't have to avoid all of the little AoEs that spawn on the ground and stun people. So if the Gryphon flies over the group, they'll get hit likely by the AoE. If it flies to you and you're stood away from the group, the AoEs are much easier to avoid, and the further they travel, the more spread out they are, so easier to sidestep for your group to avoid those as well. So that is everything, guys. So just to recap, the main priority for this fight is to dodge roll every hit and to make sure you kite the Gryphon. And you kite the Gryphon because it helps your group not to get stunned and knocked back by all the mechanics coming from the Gryphon while it's flying in the air. So you should be able to stay alive by not taking any damage from the Gryphons when they're on the ground, and that means you're able to kite safely when they are in the air. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.